We begin tonight in Copenhagen, Denmark, where European leaders have gathered for a summit that could redefine the continent's approach to security. The meeting of the European political community brings together heads of state and government from across Europe to confront two urgent challenges: the ongoing war in Ukraine and the growing threat of hybrid attacks, from mysterious drone incursions to repeated violations of Allied airspace. The arrival of UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer drew particular attention. As he stepped down from his aircraft at Copenhagen airport, television crews and reporters captured the moment, a newly elected British leader arriving at a European summit at a time of crisis. For many observers, the image of Starmer walking down the aircraft steps symbolised a turning point, a Britain that seeks once again to stand at the heart of European security discussions, even after years of turbulence in its relations with the European Union. On the tarmac, the Prime Minister was welcomed by senior Danish officials. The handshakes and brief exchange of greetings were warm but businesslike. Behind the ceremonial gestures lies a sense of shared urgency. Over recent weeks, several European nations, including Estonia, Poland and Denmark itself, have reported a spate of airspace violations and sightings of unidentified drones. Many European leaders believe these incidents are part of Moscow's strategy to test NATO's resolve and sow uncertainty within Europe's own borders. In his short exchange with the Danish representatives, Keir Starmer stressed that Britain stands shoulder to shoulder with its European partners in defending the continent's skies and supporting Ukraine. This message, aides say, reflects the new British government's determination to be seen as a reliable ally and as a practical problem solver at a time when European unity is under strain. This Copenhagen summit is not just another round of diplomatic meetings. It is taking place against the backdrop of a war now entering its fourth year in Ukraine. So the conflict has reshaped Europe's understanding of its own security. Russian missile and drone strikes have targeted Ukrainian cities almost daily, while energy and grain supplies have been disrupted across the region. For many of the leaders arriving in Denmark, the task now is not to debate whether to strengthen Europe's defences, but to decide how quickly they can deliver the necessary systems, funding and cooperation. For Prime Minister Starmer, the summit is an early test of leadership on the international stage. His government, only months into office, has already signalled that supporting Ukraine and bolstering European security will be top priorities. Britain has been one of the most significant contributors of military aid to Ukraine, from long-range Storm Shadow missiles to training for Ukrainian pilots and special forces units. Now, Starmer is seeking to reinforce the coordination between NATO and European Union-led defence efforts, a theme he recently described as a pragmatic partnership for shared security. Observers note the historical significance of the moment. A decade ago, the idea of Europe pooling defence resources or coordinating closely with NATO on new technologies such as anti-drone systems was a distant ambition. Today, with Russia waging a brutal war in Ukraine and engaging in what many officials describe as hybrid aggression against its neighbours, the question is no longer if Europe should act, but whether it can move fast enough to close the gaps in its security.
Hi there. Nice to see you.
And nice welcome to you.
Thank you very much indeed.
Hello.
Hello.
I am Kat. Nice to meet you.
Oh, nice
Key
to see you.
person who's been
Fantastic.
everything around your business. So
Fantastic.
good to have you here.
Good, good.
Hi,
Hello.
Emma.
Ah, nice to see you. And hello.
Hello, welcome. Lynn from Toronto.
Brilliant. Great. Thank you very much.
Denmark's Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen, the summit's host, has been outspoken in calling for unity. Her country has donated air defence systems to Ukraine and has seen its own airspace repeatedly threatened by unidentified drones. Ahead of the summit, Frederiksen declared, "We see sabotage, we see drones flying. We are in a hybrid war and Europe must act as one." That warning set the tone for the gathering and underscored the urgency felt across Europe's northern and eastern flanks. Security experts say these hybrid threats, the combination of cyber attacks, sabotage, disinformation campaigns, and physical drone incursions, are designed to exploit divisions within Europe and weaken collective resolve. The challenge for leaders in Copenhagen is to respond with concrete measures, not just words of solidarity. Several proposals on the table aim to improve the continent's ability to monitor and defend its skies, coordinate cyber defence and pool resources for new technologies. A central focus of the summit is a plan known as the SAFE initiative, the Strategic Airspace and Frontline Enhancement Programme. This proposal seeks to strengthen Europe's air defence network, particularly against drones and cruise missiles, by linking national defence systems more tightly with NATO's existing command structures. Diplomats say the United Kingdom could play a crucial bridging role here, given its experience in integrated air defence operations and its advanced defence industrial capacity. For Britain, this summit also offers an opportunity to reset relations with the European Union. After years of post-Brexit friction, Starmer's government has emphasised the need for pragmatic cooperation in areas where interests align, notably security and defence. Analysts note that Britain's strong stance in support of Ukraine has already improved relations with several European partners. A successful summit in Copenhagen could further cement the sense that the UK is once again an essential European security partner. The discussions here will inevitably touch on the balance between NATO's traditional role and Europe's drive for greater strategic autonomy. French President Emmanuel Macron has been a prominent advocate for stronger European defence capabilities, sometimes arguing that Europe must be able to act independently of Washington. Others, notably Frederiksen and Starmer, argue that while Europe needs to build up its own capacities, any new initiatives must reinforce NATO rather than compete with it. This debate will shape how Europe organises its defence industry, command structures and funding over the next decade. Beyond institutional questions, the situation on the battlefield in Ukraine remains urgent. Ukrainian officials have warned that the country needs more air defence interceptors, more long-range strike systems, and additional training for its forces as winter approaches. Britain, Denmark and Poland are expected to announce further joint programmes to train Ukrainian pilots and provide logistical support for frontline operations. Starmer's team has made clear that the UK sees sustained support for Ukraine as not just a moral obligation, but a strategic necessity for Europe's own stability. The footage of Starmer's arrival in Copenhagen, his walk down the aircraft steps, his greeting of Danish officials on the runway, his quiet exchange with local dignitaries may appear ceremonial, yet it carries heavy political symbolism. After years of political divisions at home and strained relations with the continent, Britain's leader arrived at this summit as part of a united front confronting common threats. In diplomacy, such images matter as much as the speeches that follow. Still, there are formidable challenges ahead. Even as European governments pledge greater support for Ukraine, many face tight defence budgets and domestic political debates over the scale of spending. Public opinion remains divided in some countries about the long-term cost of military aid and the risk of escalation. Moreover, the nature of hybrid warfare means that defence cannot be measured only in tanks, missiles or planes. It requires investments in cybersecurity, counter-disinformation measures, and the ability to coordinate rapidly across national borders. For these reasons, expectations for the Copenhagen summit are focused not on grand declarations but on practical steps. Officials are working on a joint statement reaffirming Europe's commitment to Ukraine's sovereignty and announcing accelerated procurement of air defence systems and anti-drone technology. As one senior EU diplomat put it, we cannot afford another year of hesitation. The hope among summit organisers is that the presence of leaders such as Starmer, Frederiksen and Macron will help push the discussions toward tangible results. The message they want to send to Moscow and to their own citizens is that Europe is capable of learning from the lessons of the past 2 years and is prepared to adapt. As the meetings continue behind closed doors, the images from the first day tell their own story. A continent that has been shaken by war, determined to prevent further destabilisation, and now grappling with the practical demands of collective defence. Britain's participation under its new leadership adds a fresh dynamic, signalling that despite political changes and past divisions, the security of Europe remains a shared responsibility. In the days ahead, diplomats will watch for signs of progress, not only in pledges of military aid, but in commitments to integrate air defence systems, share intelligence and confront hybrid threats more effectively. The stakes are high, and the coming winter in Ukraine is expected to be another severe test of both Ukrainian resilience and European solidarity. What is clear tonight is that the Copenhagen summit represents more than a routine gathering. It is a defining moment in Europe's response to the new era of conflict and instability on its doorstep. The leaders assembled here face a stark choice: to adapt swiftly and decisively to the evolving threats, or to risk further erosion of security and unity. For viewers around the world, the scenes from Copenhagen, the British Prime Minister's arrival, the warm but urgent welcome by Danish hosts, the firm words from European officials offer a vivid picture of a continent at a crossroads. The outcome of these discussions will not only shape Europe's defence in the years to come, but also influence the wider balance of power in an increasingly uncertain world. This has been our comprehensive report from Copenhagen, where the European Political Community Summit has opened under the shadow of war and hybrid threats. With Britain's Keir Starmer stepping onto the European stage as a key voice for unity and pragmatic cooperation, and with European leaders pledging to translate words into action, all eyes now turn to whether the promises made here can be turned into concrete measures. The decisions taken or delayed in Copenhagen will reverberate far beyond the summit halls, shaping Europe's security and Ukraine's future.